Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Sayoxy with Triangle Gaming. Today I'm going to be bringing you another League of Legends guide. This will be a support guide for Morgana, the Fallen Mage. Damn it, I mean the Fallen Angel. I'm just going to go with it. I've done this so many times and I keep saying Fallen Mage for some reason. But this is a guide for Morgana, the Fallen Angel. So this will be a pretty basic guide. We're going to take a quick look at her abilities, masteries, rune setup, and then an item build that I like to use for her. Also, at the end, as with our other guides, there will be some gameplay footage, just so y'all can get a quick look at how she plays. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take a look at her abilities. We'll start off with her passive, Soul Siphon. Morgana has Spell Vamp, healing herself whenever she deals damage with her spells. So it's pretty self-explanatory. When she uses her spells and does damage, it heals her. Not for a great amount, nothing that you'll really notice, but it does in fact heal, and it does help. And then we have her Q ability, Dark Binding. Morgana releases a sphere of dark magic. Upon contact with an enemy, the sphere will deal magic damage and force the unit to the ground for a period of time. So this is really her big ability. It has a fairly short cooldown, and once you start getting points in there, it does root for a pretty good amount of time. This ability really allows you to set up some kills for your team. Now that being said, it is a root, so they can still attack while they're rooted. You know, just a little bit of a side note there. And then we have her W ability, Tormented Soil. Affects an area with desecrated soil, causing enemy units who stand in the location to take continual damage. This is your AoE spell, does fairly minimal damage. Doesn't say it here, but the more health that the enemy is missing, the more damage it will do. It doesn't increase it significantly, but it does do a little bit more damage. And then we have her E ability, Black Shield. Places a protective barrier around an allied champion, absorbing magic damage and disables until penetrated or the shield dissipates. So this is a pretty nice ability. As it said, it is a shield for magic damage, but also as it says, it absorbs disables. So whoever this is on can't be stunned, or most CCs. Now, it stops disables. So if your ally is stunned and then you put this on them, it will not stop the stun. The stun will go its full duration. Also, a side note for this ability is it's really nice against a Blitzcrank or a Thresh. Because, for example, if Blitzcrank's about to use his Rocket Arm, you can put this on whoever you think he's going to try to get, and they won't get pulled back by that ability. And then we have Morgana's ultimate, Soul Shackles. Latches chains of energy onto nearby enemy champions, dealing initial damage to them and slowing their movement speed, and then echoing the pain a few seconds later and stunning them if they remain close to Morgana. So when you use this ability, it'll lock onto all the champions around you, and then if you're able to keep this ability on the enemies for 3 seconds, it will stun them. So really Morgana has a lot of utility with her Q ability, Dark Binding, just being able to root with a fairly short cooldown. And then her Black Shield, being able to stop your allies from getting a lot of CC if they're out of place or really anytime is just pretty nice. And then her ultimate is also a really good utility because not only does it slow, but if you're able to keep it on them, they will be stunned, and I mean that's just really good. So for her max order, you will max out Q first, then E, and then W. And then of course, as always, you will max out her ultimate whenever possible. Let's go ahead and take a look at her masteries. I use 21 points in utility and 9 points in defense. We'll go ahead and start off with her utility tree. I put 3 points in Fleet of Foot for plus 1.5% movement speed, 3 points in Meditation for plus 3 mana every 5 seconds, 3 points in Summoner's Insight to reduce the cooldown of summoner spells by 10%, 1 point in Alchemist to increase the duration of potions and elixirs by 10%, and then 1 point in Biscuit to give you some instant health and mana from your potions. Nothing really to speak of, but it does help in the early game. I got 3 points in Greed for plus 1.5 gold every 10 seconds. 1 point in Scavenger for plus 1 gold each time an ally kills a nearby lane minion. 1 point in Wealth for plus 40 starting gold. 1 point in Bandit, which we fall under the range category, so grants plus 3 gold each time an enemy champion is attacked. This cannot trigger on the same champion more than once every 5 seconds. Then I got 3 points in Intelligence for plus 5% cooldown reduction and reduces the cooldown of activated items by 10%. And 1 point in Wanderer for plus 5% movement speed when you're out of combat. And then for the defensive tree, put 2 points in Block to reduce incoming damage from champions' basic attacks by 2. Then 2 points in Recovery for plus 2 health every 5 seconds. 1 point in Unyielding for some damage reduction. 3 points in Veteran Scars for plus 36 health. And 1 point in Juggernaut for plus 3% in maximum health. Alright everyone, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the rune setup I use. For Quintessences, I use plus 4.26 armor. For marks, I use plus 0.87 magic penetration. For seals, I use plus 8 health. And then for glyphs, I use plus 1.34 magic resist. Some other options you could do. For the glyphs, you can go with the scaling magic resist if you feel like that. They are better in the long run, so I mean that's always a viable option. And then I don't ever do this, but I know some other people do. Before your marks, you can use the hybrid penetration. It allows your basic attacks to do a little bit more damage, but I mean, I'd rather my spells and stuff do a little bit more damage. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. But it is an option that you can use, and you know, it has its perks. So just whatever you prefer, I guess. Alright guys, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you the item build that I use for Morgana. For your starting items, you're going to go ahead and start off with Spell Thief's Edge. It gives you 5 ability power, 2 mana regain per 5 seconds, and 2 gold per 10 seconds. And then also its passive, spells and basic attacks against champions or buildings deal 10 additional damage and grant 5 gold. This can occur up to 3 times every 30 seconds. Killing a minion disables this passive for 12 seconds. So this is just your gold income item. Very nice. It's nice for Morgana because it has the mana regain and a tiny bit of ability power. And then along with that, you're either going to take 1 health potion and 1 mana potion along with your warding totem, or 1 health potion and a stealth ward along with your warding totem. Usually, if you're going to be a little bit more aggressive and you want to be able to shoot off some more bindings, then you're going to go ahead and go with the health potion and the mana potion. If you're wanting to play a little bit more passive, then you'll go ahead and go with the health potion and the stealth ward. Now for your first recall, I have it here. It says first recall and build up, because this is what you're going to want to have built before you start finishing up your items. It's up to you. They're all kind of the same price. I like vision early, so I usually go with sightstone first. But I mean, other options are depending on how early you have to go. Like if things aren't going well and you have to go back pretty early, maybe you can just upgrade to Frostfang for 500 gold. But then there also is Chalice of Harmony. All these are going to kind of cost the same thing. You can upgrade Frostfang and get your boots of speed for I think for 825 gold, so that's not that bad. And then you got your Sightstone and your Chalice of Harmony. So let's go ahead and go through them real quick. You got your Frostfang, just an upgrade from your Spell Thief's Edge. Gives you 10 ability power, 5 mana regain per 5 seconds, and 2 gold per 10 seconds. Its passive increases a little bit. Instead of doing 10 additional damage, it does 15, and instead of giving you 5 gold, it gives you 10 gold. Your Sightstone gives you 150 health. It also gives you the 4 charges of the stealth wards. Allows you for good vision, just help you not get ganks, and vision is king. Then there's Chalice of Harmony, gives you 20 magic resist, 7 mana regain per 5 seconds. And then its passive, Mana Front, increases mana regain by 1% per 1% of missing mana. So this is just going to start giving you really good amounts of mana regain, which is always helpful. Allows you to just fire off more and more bindings. But I mean, if you do get Frostfang, I mean, it gives you enough mana regain. I mean, you may not be able to just spam them, but you can bind pretty often. Then we have the Ionian Boots of Licity. This is really nice. It gives you a 15% cooldown reduction, which, I mean, the more bindings you can shoot off, the better. Your binding helps in so many ways, not just in setting up kills, but also in disengages and engages and all that good stuff. And then, of course, you know, like all the others, increases your movement speed by 45. And then whenever you get your Sightstone, you will replace your Warding Totem with Sweeping Lens. Or if you're able to buy Stealth Wards instead of Sightstone just yet, you may go ahead and switch this. It's really up to you, but you definitely want to switch it whenever you get your Sightstone. Now for your core items, I have Ruby Sightstone. Just go ahead and upgrade that. Now, you're not going to want to upgrade it first, or maybe very early at all. Just depends, really, on how the game's going. But it gives you 400 health, and then it upgrades to 5 charges of your Stealth Wards. Then you'll finish upgrading your Frostfang into Frost Queen's Claim. Gives you 50 ability power, 10 mana regain per 5 seconds, and 10% cooldown reduction, along with the plus 2 gold every 10 seconds. Your passive tribute stays the same, 15 additional damage and 10 gold. Then it has a nice active which fires an ice lance that explodes, dealing 50 plus 5 per champion level magic damage to nearby enemies and slowing their movement speed by 80%, decaying over 2 seconds. So 80% is quite a lot. I got your boots here, already went over those. Then you'll upgrade your Chalice of Harmony into Mikkel's Crucible, or whatever you want to call that. Gives you plus 40 magic resist, along with 20 mana regain per 5 seconds, along with 10% cooldown reduction. This passive, same as Chalice, increases mana regain by 1% for every 1% of missing mana. And then it's active, which removes all stuns, roots, taunts, fears, silences, and slows on an allied champion in short, pretty much every CC on an allied champion, and heals a champion for 150 with plus 10% of maximum health. So that's a pretty nice active. Comes in handy in certain situations. And then usually you will go ahead and get Zanya's Hourglass. Gives you a good chunk of ability power along with some armor. And it's active, which is always nice. Champion becomes invulnerable and untargetable for 2.5 seconds. And then for your situational items, you have Locket of the Iron Solari. Gives you 400 health, 20 magic resist, and 10% cooldown reduction. It's active, which is really good. Grants a shield to nearby allies for 5 seconds that absorbs up to 50 plus 10 per level damage with a 60-second cooldown. So this is really nice for team fights, along with just small skirmishes. Anything really, if you can use it, it's nice. Then it has a nice aura. Grants nearby allies plus 20 magic resist and plus 10 health regain every 5 seconds. Another item, this is mainly if you need armor and no one else has gotten this item, then go ahead and get Frozen Heart. Gives you 100 armor, 400 mana, and plus 20% cooldown reduction. And its aura, which reduces the attack speed of nearby enemies by 15%. And there's Twin Shadows. Gives you 800 ability power, 10% cooldown reduction, 6% movement speed. And it's active, which summons up to 2 invulnerable ghosts that seek out the 2 nearest enemy champions for 6 seconds. If they reach those champions, it reveals them and reduces their movement speed by 40% for 2.5 seconds. So that's pretty nice. Also, if the ghost can't get to the enemy champions, they will return to you and reduce your cooldown by 40 seconds. Then we have Relay Scepter. You usually won't get this item unless the enemy team is really mobile. It gives you a plus 400 health along with 100 ability power, which both those things are always nice. But mainly it's because it's passive. Dealing spell damage slows the target's movement speed by 35% for 1.5 seconds. This item allows you to kind of control the fights a little bit better. Just doesn't allow the enemy team to just run all over the place. Kind of keeps everything in check. So it is in certain situations a pretty nice item. Now I'm going to go ahead and play the gameplay footage that I have set up for y'all to watch. As I said before, this is just so y'all can get a quick look at how she plays. So hope you enjoy. Alright everyone, so that's going to go ahead and do it for this guide. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and like, subscribe, and stay tuned to the channel for some more League of Legends guides. Also, feel free to go ahead and leave some comments below about this video. And if not, thanks for watching, and have a good one.